In this video, I'm going to show you how to edit Milky Way photos in Lightroom step by step, using the workflow that I use for my own night sky images. Start by importing your RAW images into Lightroom or your favorite editing software. Shoot in RAW because this gives you more flexibility when recovering shadows, detail, and controlling noise. We're going to work mostly in the basic panel to start today. These simple adjustments make the biggest difference.
First thing I want to do is increase the exposure here just a little bit. I want to deal with the white balance. It's a little warm here. And what I basically do for all my images is I adjust the white balance depending on the core. The core here is maybe just a little bit warm. Let's brighten that up just a little bit. We want the core to be right around in here, fairly bright and yellow. Not quite that yellow, but probably about right here. This one is a little bit more tricky because there's light pollution and that's why I picked it. I think that looks pretty good with the core, but as you can see, that's a little bright. So we're gonna bring that down just a little bit. We'll increase the contrast just a little bit. We can push the highlights a little bit, but mostly that's just messing with the front there. Pull the shadows. I'm not gonna really mess with that. My standard is kind of for texture, clarity, and dehaze, vibrance, and saturation. I put all of those at 8 to start out, and then I will kind of adjust. You could adjust a little more clarity. That's gonna kind of brighten up the core just a little bit without really affecting much else. That's usually more clarity than I use, but for this particular image, that might be a little helpful. I'm gonna just a little bit. So these are my basic adjustments. This was at a campground and there were bright bathroom lights. And so that's why there's a lot of this weird color. Plus I put my own light on there to kind of cancel out some of this yucky color that was coming from that fluorescent bathroom light. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a little bit of denoise. Usually I go between like 15 and 20 just to kind of depend. We don't want, see how it's getting kind of soft. We don't want it to get super soft. And I probably increase the sharpening just a little bit more. Around 50 is probably pretty good. Next thing I'm going to do is remove the chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. I want to brighten up this Milky Way. So there's a couple ways that I can do that. I could either brighten up all of it, and then I'm just going to end up with a pretty bright foreground. And I could try maybe bringing the highlights down. And that actually is working pretty good. It is affecting the core just a little bit, but that is bringing it down. We could probably do that and then just bringing down the shadows just maybe a little bit. If we look here, hit the backslash key, that's where we started. Okay, so already things look a lot better. The other thing that you could do if you just feel like this is a little bright and it's kind of distracting because it is really bright, you could crop it out. 4:3 is the new Instagram aspect ratio. Even that cuts out a lot of it, and that is probably pretty good. If you wanted, you could add some vignetting. You could come down here and just kind of slide this over. That's probably a lot, but that would kind of help on those bright corners, and it just kind of helps like darken this down and bring it down. The other thing that you could do is come up here and you could get a brush or a gradient. So we could add this gradient and I could just go like this, and then I'm just going to drop that, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring that exposure down just a little bit. So that's one way that you could do it. That sometimes is a little bit easier than trying to put a gradient or a sky filter on and trying to brighten the sky. So for this particular image, that's how I would deal with it. I would just brighten the sky and then just bring everything else back down. This is just kind of a weird color just because of the light. What you could do in here if you wanted to is we could try maybe if we add a little bit of blue to get rid of some of that orange. I mean, you could put a little bit of magenta in there, but that's how we can kind of counteract that color. So now everything has a little bit better color cast. Still over here is a little bit orange. So we could try pulling some of that orange out just doing a little color grading. We just want to make sure, see, we don't want to take out too much orange, then we lose a lot of our color. But if we take out just a little bit, maybe a little yellow. The other thing you could do is maybe bring the luminance down just a little bit. That would also help.
Here's a look at the before and after. Even small adjustments make a huge difference in bringing out the beauty of the Milky Way. What I've shown you here is just the foundation. There's a lot more you can do to bring out detail, reduce noise, shape the color, and really make your Milky Way image stand out. Inside my course, Milky Way in Motion, I walk you through my entire advanced editing process step by step. The exact workflow I use from raw file to final polished image and time lapse. If you want to take your edits to the next level, you'll find the link below. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Until next time, take care and clear skies.